Hello, guys. Sorry for the delay, having some tech issues over here, transferring between monitors, but thank you for your patience. We are going to talk today about websites. Now, anyone who's joined me before, now Tracy, I can see you there, you've seen me before, knows that I've done a few different things around the marketing sphere before. So we've looked at Facebook ads recently, we've looked at email marketing, and a little while back I actually did a DIY website, how to build your own website webinar as well. So there's plenty of resources actually up there available for you to find if you're in the digital solutions program that you can find inside our digital solutions community, or I've also got them on YouTube as well if you want to go and see them there. So today is all about websites, and this one I would love it if you guys could help me out and give me maybe some details of your business or your website as well. We don't need to name and shame, but if you would love some personal feedback or some examples about what we're talking about relating to your existing website, please feel free to send it through into the Q&A section, and we can actually use those as examples to give you some pointers on what makes a really good website and where things could be improved. So let's start out. I will just share this with you guys. Let's swap this around. Entire screen, one. All right, so for anyone who's been here before, you probably already know a little bit about me, but I am the Business and Operations Manager at The Rural Woman, and I was raised between Sydney and the bush growing up, so that's where my rural aspect comes from, but I've also learned over the years there's a very different thing between bush and country. So I'm not sure that I know a lot about living in the country, but I do know plenty about how it is living in the bush. My career so far has sort of been around business development and business management, marketing operations, client servicing and event planning. And what makes me tick is actually building and developing systems and processes and businesses from the ground up. So whether you're new to market or whether you're thinking of starting a business or you've had one for a few years but you want it to grow and take off, that's where I love to come in and help you learn how to do that. So digital solutions program, for those of you who have who are already in the digital solutions program, just phase out for a minute. But for those of you who are not a part of the digital solutions program, and I know there are a few who are joining us today, this is something that is run by the Australian federal government. It's the reason we're able to do this presentation today. So this is a program designed to help small businesses with less than 20 staff members get their business up, running, functioning, operating, marketed and promoted online in the digital space. So there's obviously a gap, we know, in a lot of small businesses these days with not necessarily being able to keep up with the times digitally, whether that's, you're still using paper files, or maybe you've got kind of a bit of a clunky invoicing system, or you don't take online payments, or it could be as simple as when you go down to your local takeaway and you can't place an order online, you have to still pick up the phone. This digital solutions program is designed to help small businesses meet the next level in terms of digitizing their business. The free version, I would encourage everyone who joins today to at least join the free version so that you get access to more and more webinars and information like this. We also have an exclusive online community as part of the Rural Woman, where we like to have a bit of a discussion back and forth, and there's more resources in there for you. But the real value in this program, and hopefully a few of those who have attended today know that the real value is in the one-on-one appointments that you have with a digital advisor, as part of the All Access program, which is just $49.50, and you get up to 4 hours of one-on-one advice. So highly recommend doing that. If you would like to join and you haven't already, there's a QR code which should take you to a landing page, which we're promoting it as an 8-week digital strategy. So you can complete 1 hour every 2 weeks with your digital advisor, and they're going to help you actually build a strategy that you can implement in your business to help you digitize probably one or two or three even of the most impactful elements of digital business into your business. So it's not just about trying to force topics down your throat. It's about actually assessing what your business needs and trying to help you get those up and running. There's also the free assessment tool and guide, which some of you may have seen, which you can go online and do a little bit of a self-assessment quiz as to what areas your business might be kind of falling behind a little bit, and some pointers there for you as well, with a free guide of digital tips for small business. So you're welcome to go and pop your details in there and get your own results. So let's launch into it. So what makes a great website? It's such a hard question because everyone likes to think that their own website is fabulous, or maybe they've had it built by someone else and they hate it, or they're just not super happy with the results they got, especially if you've invested a huge amount of money. So this is a topic that comes up really frequently, that, you know, I'm not super happy with my site. I want to make improvements. I don't think my website is performing very well. I don't really know why I have a website. These are questions that I hear all the time, and I'm not even one of the digital advisors. I just hear this myself when I'm talking to people. So let's talk about the aspects of a really great website. So clean, clear, consistent branding and voice, I put as number one. Now, some people might argue with me on that and say, no, your user-friendly design and the ability to view on mobile is the most important thing. I would say that's probably about equal with number one. But what you want when someone lands on your website is you want to have, it's that instant view impression that someone gets of your brand and what you guys actually do. That's so important. As they say, first impressions count. So having really, really clear branding across your website, and making sure it's consistent, and that your narrative or your voice that you use in all of the wording on your website as well, is so important in making that strong, good impression. A user-friendly design and mobile view or usage is obviously sort of equal with first. So you want your design of your website to be easy to follow, easy to navigate, that it's not too complicated. You don't have the key areas sort of hidden in submenus. And of course, you want it to be able to function and work perfectly well and look right when someone's looking at your website on the mobile view. If you ever go into your Google Analytics for your website, which hopefully everyone's got set up, this is something where you can go and check out you can actually see the number of people who are using your website on a desktop versus a mobile device in your Google Analytics. So you might be surprised, it's probably more than 50% of users are using your site with mobile view. Fast loading speed. Now, this is something that we probably see less of as an issue that pops up, but sometimes you do sort of land on a site that is takes a little bit longer. So that's normally because graphics, there are too many high resolution graphics on the site. Maybe the site contains a lot of extra data. You know, you might have a lot of different pages, you might have heaps of products. And so fast loading speed is something that you really need to build into your site as you're actually building and developing it. So making sure that your graphics are not of a massive size that then the browser is trying to condense them really quickly when someone visits it, and that you're cleaning out any data that you no longer need as well on your site. So if there are pages that you've deleted, products you no longer have, making sure you actually delete those pages in the back end of your site, that can all contribute to the improvement of speed. Easy to navigate and source information, so being able to source information quickly. So a lot of the time people don't actually spend a lot of time on your website. If you, again, go into Google Analytics, you'll probably be surprised that the average time spent on site or spent on page is something like 2 or 3 seconds. Or maybe a minute if you're lucky. It's only websites that have a lot of products that someone might be actually browsing through looking for something specific, or a lot of information that's really valuable to someone, that your viewing time would increase. If you're a services-based website, it's more likely that your website is probably going to have much shorter viewing times, because people will tend to go to your website just to get a quick squiz to make sure, yeah, they're legit. Maybe I just want to find the contact form or the contact details for them, or I saw something about a blog article that I'd like to read and I'm just going to have a skim read of that. So making sure that the information that you have on your website is really easy to find and easy to navigate, that just contributes to that user-friendly sort of design aspect of your site, and also just helps people in finding what they're looking for rather than getting frustrated and leaving your site without actually getting what they wanted. And we are going to look at examples of this as well, guys, so don't freak out and think that I'm overwhelming you at the moment. Clear calls to action. So CTA or CTAs, which you've probably heard me mention before, a call to action is something that is an action like a button or a form or a purchase, an action that you want the person landing on your site to take when they get there. So having really clear CTAs is important, because you've got to think about the purpose of your site, which we're going to talk about, and making sure that people understand really quickly where they're supposed to be going and what it is that they should do on your site. So if it's to purchase a particular product or to use a discount code, for example, you want to make it really, really clear. Here's the discount code, click here to copy it, enter it into the box on your checkout page. Or it might be, click here to read this article first, and that's going to follow through to a second call to action, which takes you to the purchase page for a product that's mentioned in the blog article. So clear calls to action is what builds your customer journey through a website, which I'll go into more detail about. And then obviously SEO friendly design and or easy to find from other sources. Now the other top question that we get is questions around SEO, and SEO stands for search engine optimization. And that's what makes your website rank sort of on those first 1 or 2 pages on Google, is that the internet can basically pull out the keywords that are on your site. It recognizes them. It judges your site to be an authority on that subject, or it probably has the most relevant keywords or the most relevant phrases that pertain to certain topics, and therefore it will bump your website up higher on Google or whatever search engine that you're using. Everyone's goal is to be the top #1 rank on Google. You can do that through paid Google ads, or if you've got really, really clear search terms and people know exactly what they're looking for example, financial planning in Manly, like the last business I worked for, that was a really easy one for people to find on Google by just using that term, because of the information we had in the website itself. Now, SEO does not need to be super complicated. A lot of people think that they need to go and employ someone or take up one of the dodgy looking email offers for SEO SEO services that you might receive, about 100 of those in your spam inbox. But SEO can actually be very, very simple. It can just be a matter of putting a couple of keywords and maybe a little summary in the back side of your website. If you're on WordPress, for example, it will be your Yoast keywords. We're not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but I just wanted to let you know that SEO doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as just finding out where you need to enter those keywords and going through and adding a few for each page. But the other most important thing that I mentioned is you've got to look at your website in terms of your entire digital marketing strategy. So you want people to be able to find your website from other sources. So if you've got a great Instagram page or a great Facebook page, or you've got YouTube videos, if people can easily find the link to your website from, say, those other sources, then it doesn't actually matter how good or bad your SEO is, because you're actually pointing all your activities in your digital marketing towards your website anyway. So that is going to help make your website easier to find and to help you perform better. So we're going to look at some examples. Now, I know all of these are really quite girly, but bear with me. So let's have a look at a few examples of good websites and what makes them good. Just a reminder that, guys, you can put questions into the Q&A section. And if you would like me to open your website during this chat and have a look at it and give you some pointers, we can also do that as well. Just put your website link into the Q&A. So this is an example of a really great website that I look now. I know we're looking on desktop here. We're not looking on mobile view, but Hideaway is a skincare brand. Now, what's great about this when I first look at it? They've got a scrolling banner, which is really eye-catching. A huge 70% off store-wide for the end of financial year promotion. There's a little pop-up here that says free gift. Be one of the first 500 shoppers to spend over $150 to receive our new lip balm box favorites. And then everything else is really simple. There's some more scrolling promotions here. Can kind of ignore those. There's a very simple navigation kind of hamburger over on the left side for you to navigate. And then you can see there's probably an ability to log into your profile, a search button, and your shopping cart. This also tells me you can earn rewards. And then they've split this. Now, obviously, end of financial year, this is not what this website looks like 24/7, but they've split their promotions between up to 70% off, up to 50% off, and up to 30% off. So it's really, really clear. And obviously, most people are going to go to check out the biggest discount. But the way the images also expand when you hover over them makes it more interactive and engaging. Super clear calls to action. So the call to action here is shop now on each of these. And then they've got a little bit of a summary of some top products here with the biggest discounts. So you can see $180 down to $60. That's pretty impressive. $74 down to $25. That kind of sucks you in. It shows you also that they do a mix of things. They've got a mix of products, a mini sampler. They do perfumes. They do packages. So it shows you a little bit about the range. And then again, they've got more categories: Hideaway Crush, deodorant, sour lollies, which is obviously a flavor, their perfumes, and then some key facts about them. They're fragrance fanatics, they're cruelty-free, they've got incredible ingredients, a highlight of some collections, reviews, testimonials, and then a sitemap at the bottom. Now, it is a busy page, but if you think about what's eye-catching about this site, first of all, branding is number one. The pale pink, clear branding at the top, lots of white space in between makes it easy to see. They've got consistent background colors on all of their product images, and very consistent imagery when they've got a model in there as well. Now, obviously, you might not have a product site, or you might not have a site that needs models, but what you're looking for when you're looking for what makes a great site is consistency in the branding and the imagery. So, we've got faces. It's 3/4 body for pretty much everyone on there. Consistent colors again, lots of white space. Everything's a little bit glamorous, bit fun. And then there's plenty of things to scroll through on the homepage that make it interesting. And then their navigation is really easy too. Shop all, skincare, bath and body, gift sets, fragrances, wholesale order, and contact us. It's not complicated. If we went into skincare, again, it's broken down into another sub-menu, but also notice that it doesn't make this disappear. Sometimes you hover over a menu like this on a hamburger style and the initial menu will disappear and you have to click back. This one you can actually see I'm in skincare and I'm looking at these products, or I'm in bath and body and I can see these. So that's an example of a site with really great clear branding, easy navigation as well, and very consistent kind of imagery and also wording. So their tone or their voice is quite neutral. Shop now, get up to 70% off, site-wide, be one of the first. These are very neutral. Our number one fragrance, but they're also a little bit professional as well. They're not just targeting women of this age range. Because of their tone, you could probably look at this as something nice for your mum or for your aunt or, you know, whoever you like. Let's look at another one. This is another skincare or body products site. Again, similar. I would be honestly not surprised if I found out that they were owned by the same people. We've got, again, really bright, clear branding. So you can understand why I say branding and brand image are so important and probably my number one thing for what makes a great website, because that really jumps out on both of these sites. Now, they've got a sale as well, so a big banner image across the front. Now, I love this on websites, this big banner. That is your number one call to action. So if you have a service or a product that performs absolutely best in your business, or there's one that you want to be performing really well, or it's the one that you know is targeted directly to your ideal customer, this is the spot to put it. So doing a big banner that takes up almost the entire screen at the front of your website is really a great way to encourage people to just take an action and go and shop now or find out more, learn more, read more within the first thing that they see on your site. Now, these guys have a similar simple menu, but theirs is actually spread out across the top like a traditional menu. And then they've got sort of a secondary menu above this. I don't love the split menu design because I find it can be a little bit distracting, because you've got blog, skin quiz, you've got your order and your sort of shopping menu up here, which is fine to have that separate. But then they've got this separate main menu down here. I probably just don't love this. I would probably just include that in here or make them a call to action in perhaps a rotating banner instead. But you can see this one, if you hover, they've got drop downs, which makes it nice and clear and easy to find. And being a skin product as well, they've got shop all, and they've got it split between skin concern, routine, ingredients, ranges, accessories. And then they've got that split out here as well in this main menu. What you want is to make the navigation really, really easy. So they can go to shop all and see the breakdown, but there's a double up of it. So that if they don't go to shop all, they can also choose to shop by skin concern, routine, ingredients. So finding a different way to put your products or services under a banner, for example, or under a drop down that's really easy to find solutions for, because remember your customer has probably come to your site because they want something or they're looking for a solution to something. So making sure that you have a couple of clever ways of splitting out the solutions that you're offering them is a great way to make sure that they've got more than one way of navigating through your website. Then if we scroll down, they've got featured products. So you can see these are probably their top sellers. Again, the branding is super consistent. The background on all of their product images is exactly the same. In fact, they've even gone as far as to make sure that their hover or rollover image is a gradiated background on each of them. They've got the key information about the product, Simple add to cart, which is another call to action. Price, you can see there's a drop down. And like the other site that we looked at, a little bit of key information about their brand, bringing a beauty to the world, embrace our uniquely Australian approach, like Aussie approach to skincare. It's straight away announcing we're an Australian-owned company. Highly effective formulas. We'd rather be at the beach than stuck in the bathroom, a little bit cheeky. And Australian botanical ingredients, cruelty-free, ethically sourced, no nasties, just vegan formulas. And these are really top kind of headline statements about their product, which are really relevant to a lot of stuff that's coming up in the beauty industry, you know, daily, that we see in magazine articles, or we see online, or we see on products. They're promoting that they offer those things. So if you've got something like that about your business that you might want to pop down below a banner, maybe some featured products, or sort of like your key services that people can easily jump to, having a simple statement about your brand and some neat icons that kind of sum up some key items as well is a really great way to just show people a little bit about what you're about without going into a massive essay about how you were formed. We all know those. We all know those websites that you're looking for a recipe and you go and click and you've got someone's life story for about, you know, 3/4 of the page, and then down the bottom is the recipe. We want to avoid that. So mostly on a website, the less text, the better, in the sense that you want it to be easy for your visitors to read and navigate as well. Or have a way of breaking up your information like this with little icons. Then they've got new products, skin quiz, mask quiz, something interactive, some highly recognizable brands that they've got there that they've been featured in, some more features, easy returns, free shipping, subscribe. They don't have an annoying pop-up, which is interesting. They just have a little want 15% off that you can open and enter your details, or they've got an actual built-in banner for it. And again, the footer as well. Now, your footer at the bottom of your site is really important. Now, some places don't do this anymore, but the reason this is important is because most of the time, things like shipping, refunds, stockists, FAQ, that stuff you probably won't put in your top menu unless you want to put it into like a drop-down item, for example, under, say, about. But you've got to understand, and we'll get to this, is the journey that your clients are going through when they visit your website. Is the information going to be the main thing that you want them to look at? If so, pop it into your top menu. If not, it can go into your sitemap at the bottom. So things like FAQ, stockists, refund, people generally know to go down to the bottom to look for that. Their shopping feature is really straightforward as well. You can just waitlist, add to cart, and they've got a very simple, probably built-in Shopify or something similar. You can get a discount on this product. There's kind of that +1, or would you like fries with that offer, and an easy to navigate to side menu for their purchases. Now, again, this is a product site, so if you've got services, things will be a little bit different. Let's look at just a couple more quickly before we move on. Kellyville Pets, God, this is probably one of the biggest and most famous pet stores in Sydney. They started out as literally a shed that we used to drive past when I was a kid, and now they are this huge organization which has everything from pet adoption to sales to shop to school, everything. Another great website, big banner at the top again. They've got these big sort of primary colors to their brand with this neutral sort of beige as well. And then simply pets available, dogs, cats, reptiles, birds. Super simple menu based on what exactly you're looking for. Pet school and services. So you can shop by department, hot buys. You want your homepage to be a mixture of your best selling or your key items that you want your visitors to interact with on the homepage. It's starting to get a little bit long probably when you get down here, but the point is that the most actionable items that you want on your website are sort of sitting up the top. They've, instead of putting these things into their footer at the sitemap, they've put a second menu up the top. So gift cards, gifts, what's on. I don't love the secondary menu. I would prefer to have it all just built into the one. But if you do have a very complex set of services and products, then sometimes you might find this is a good way of doing it as well. These guys, or a lot, will also have the pop-up contact item. Now, if you want to have a built-in contact feature, it's normally something you can actually set up through Facebook even, or depending on your website host, if you're in Wix or if you're in Shopify, you can probably actually set up the little messaging service, automated messaging service for your site as like an add-in or a plugin. And you can set up default responses, or you can set it up so there's frequently asked questions that they can select from as well while waiting for you to actually send a reply. I'll just look at one more. Fox and Fallow is a beautiful stationery range. And again, big banner. This is a scrolling banner. So I quite like these because it's going to show you a few key things that you want people to straight up. Lunch bags. Now this one, you'll notice, has slowed down. We've got a delay. So it shows me that their website is actually drawing a lot of data. They've got a lot of storage and big image files back there, which probably isn't ideal because it's causing a bit of a delay in loading. But again, home, new arrivals, shop by product, the branding is super clear. The fonts are all really in line. They've obviously got one clear font for headings and another clear font for their text that they use. End of financial year sale, they've got it split out a bit like the first site. And what's good about this is also remembering that you can update your website as much as you want or as regularly as you want. It does feel like something extra, but if you want your website actually performing in terms of getting you sales, getting you bookings, getting you inquiries, updating it regularly so people have a purpose to come back is really important. And it can be as simple as just adding a sale section like this, or adding we're doing a free tote this weekend with purchase. That's some examples of some great websites, and you're welcome to go and look at those anytime and also see how they look on your mobile. Yeah. Branding. Now, we talked about branding. This is one of the, as I said, the biggest sort of front and center thing on your site. Now, we have done a webinar before on creating your own brand book. So if you haven't seen that, definitely jump into our digital solutions community and have a look for the brand book or branding webinars that we've got there. But this is making sure on your website you're using key colors and tones, consistent fonts, consistent font sizes, so you don't have too many differing font sizes because that can make it look messy. You don't want a site that looks messy. Imagery in line with your brand, like I mentioned in the first site, yes, they're probably all girls of a similar age, but the image is very similar. Very clean makeup, hair up, the background has actually been edited to make it the same. It shows 3/4 of the body. It's not a full body shot and it's not just face. Or you might have a mix of images that are in line with your brand, like if you are on the surf, we're talking about rural and regional businesses, but let's just say, all right, let's say if you're on the farm, you've got images maybe potentially of your property, all in beautiful lush green, hopefully if you're not in drought, photos that are really rugged or really like nature driven. If you've got a service that's really professional, you would have really professional photos of, offices or laptops or businesses. You can see here the stuff that is popping up here in Canva when you search design is a lot of very business centric stuff. And And that imagery helps make your branding more memorable for people who visit your site. Your voice and your narrative are genuine and personal. It's not fake. It's not too over the top. It's not too personal, because sometimes it can be a little bit too much. You know, yes, if you want to sell yourself, especially if your service is something like, you know, you deliver business coaching, for example, you want it to be personal, but you also want it to be semi-professional. My preference is that the voice or narrative used in any branding is normally as if you were speaking to a family friend. So it's professional, it's polite, but it's still also personal enough that it is engaging for the visitor. And using key colors for highlights or specials. So this is something where you might choose 4 or 5 colors that are your key brand colors, but you want to have highlights or accents so that you can actually make things pop on your site. So if you were doing a brand, for example, let's do one right now in here. For the rural woman, for example, you might have 3 colors that are key, or 4 colors, and then we want to have 2 highlight colors or 2 kind of pop colors. So that's our main home brand, our main color. We've also got our green, which is in our logo. We've got a brown, which sort of offsets the 2. And then if we wanted to make colors pop, or for us, we want actually like some background photos, you can select ones that are going to contrast or complement both nicely. So we've got a really muted version of our pink and a really muted version of our green that we can use in the background. And we might use these to pop. But I've also found that, you know, I like to use, if I'm promoting something else, there might be a blue, for example, that is really clear and clean, but still those warm sort of tones of the pink. So giving yourself, when you're creating a brand board, giving yourself some neutral colors, your key colors, and also some pop colors is helpful, so that you know, no matter what you're doing on your website or in your branding or your imagery, that your branding is going to be consistent, providing you stick within those colors. So if you haven't created a brand book for yourself, definitely go and do so, and go and visit your website and try to look at it with a sort of neutral aspect, and ask yourself, is my branding consistent in all these ways? Are my colors and tones consistent? My fonts and font sizes? Is my imagery consistent? Is my voice and narrative maintained throughout the website? And do I use key colors or pop colors if I want to get attention as well? Purpose of your website. Now, every website needs to have a purpose, and this is something that people tend to forget as well. We often just go, I've got to have a website because every business has a website. And you don't really know what to do with it, especially if you're a services-based website. You can kind of feel like it just sits there and it's something that you pay this ongoing amount of money for, but it doesn't actually result in anything for you. You want your website to have a purpose. So first of all, sit down and ask yourself, if you haven't already, what is the purpose of my website? Is it just to portray information about my brand? Is it to obtain sales? Is it to encourage people to learn more about what I do and therefore submit an inquiry or book in for, you know, a discovery call or something similar? Define the purpose and the outcome that you want from your website when someone visits. I like to ask, what are the top 3 to 5 things that you want your site visitors to do when they land on your website? Like that big banner that we saw on some of the examples, that would be to go and shop, you know, to put something into your cart. If you've got a promotion going that you're doing a free consultation, that would be a top one that you want to promote as well. You're trying to encourage people to book in a consult. Or perhaps you want people to go excuse me, you want people to go and read the latest blog articles that you've been writing because you put a lot of valuable information. Remember, we want to give value to our prospective customers or clients. So go and list down, one, what is the actual overall purpose of my website? Then what are the top 3 things you want your site visitors to do when they land on your website? And that is going to link into your calls to action as well, because you're going to create a call to action for every single one of those 3 things. What is the ultimate outcome? Is it a sale? Is it a booked call? Is it a sent inquiry? Is it subscription to a course? Is it a payment for, a download, for example? What is your ultimate outcome? And remember, if you've done some previous webinars with us before, or you've done some one-on-one with your digital advisor, try to link this to your ideal client. So not so much what you want to be the outcome, but what you want the outcome to be for your ideal customer. And the reason they're different is because, yes, I would love to be able to make a $500 sale every morning by 10 a.m. But in reality, my ideal customer is probably going to make 5 $100 purchases instead over the space of 12 months. So I need to design my website, and I need to design the calls to action on my website to encourage that outcome, not a one-off $500 sale, because it's unlikely that that connects with my ideal customer. And then ensuring your site promotes the outcome at key and prominent opportunities. It's on that main banner as soon as they land on your site. It's a pop-up in the corner that gives them an add-on or a freebie if they go and engage with this particular aspect or this particular page on your site, that sort of thing. So you're giving your site opportunities throughout each page or key pages that promotes that outcome. Remember, guys, if you've got any questions, just pop them into the Q&A and I will answer them as I go. Customer journey. Now, I don't know, I would say probably 1 in 10 businesses has actually done a customer map or a customer journey, but I'm talking about this from a slightly different perspective. So instead of doing a customer journey with your business as a client, your website actually can have a customer journey as well. So take the time when you've done your list of outcomes and purpose and top 3s and all the rest, do a little map of what is the customer journey on your website. So what do you want them to do when they first land? What are the potential 2nd or 3rd steps that you want them to go to? How would they go about getting to, for example, a sale or a booking? And creating a map of that is going to help you help you make sure that your website is set up to facilitate that. That there's a link, say, at the bottom of a page that encourages them to go and visit X, or there's there's an opportunity to add to cart a featured product associated with a blog article that you've written. So if anyone would like to do an example of this, if you'd like to pop your website into the comments, don't be embarrassed if you would like to do that. You can pop your website into the Q&A and we can actually do a little customer journey for your website based on what we're looking at. And if not, we will go to a different website and we will do an example of that. So I'll just give a couple of seconds if you're brave. If anyone wants to try. No? Okay. All right. Let's look at an example. So maybe I'll pull one from one of these ones. Form & Co is a good one. Oh, someone has done it. Sorry. I've just seen I'm a bit late. Tracy, thank you, darling. You put your details in there. I have 2 businesses, lactation consultant and my website, lactation consultant Braidwood, went down just over a week ago. No idea why. Oh no, and how to recover it. And the other business is your farm business, and we don't have a website for this. I just use Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Your clunky invoicing paper notes, so you need help with the digitization. I think, Tracy, you are on the All Access program, so hopefully you're getting some support. You haven't done the one-on-one yet. Yes, definitely recommend. And Google Analytics is something that's quite easy to set up as well. We might do another session on how to do that. All right, let's have a look at Tracy's site over here. So yes, it says it doesn't work, which is very, very sad. Lactation consultant braidwood.com.au page isn't working. Ooh. Tracy, I don't know if you've got someone who looks after your website or if this is something you've built yourself. But maybe send me an email if you know the answer to that, and I might see if there's a way I can help you. Or if you go and pop it into the comments inside the Digital Solutions community, one of us might be able to give you a bit of help. Yes, she's moving. Yes, perfect. So sorry to hear about that. That's very sad. Let's have a look at Forv & Co for a customer journey. Now, normally you could do this in Canva, or you can just do it with a pen and paper. But let's just talk this through. So for these guys, Forv & Co, we can tell it's a product-based thing. They've got gift boxes, build your own, gifts by price, personalized, shop by product, contact us. They've got the scrolling banner, unique newborn baby gifts. They've got name plaques, personalized gifts, featured categories, baby gift boxes. Now, personally, because I started using this business years ago for client gifts when we found out someone had a baby, I know that their gift boxes is the number one kind of action that they want people to take. So if you think about that, and let's just create this in Canva. Let's go that page. It's really simple, and like I said, you can do this with pen and paper. You don't need to do it in Canva, so you're faffing around. Land on site is step one on site homepage. You know, these people for this business ideally would love to probably have you landing on their homepage, which they've so carefully built out to start with. And then probably the number one thing that they want people to do, by the looks of things, as we know, is the gift boxes. And I know that one of their scrolling items promotes that. And build your own. You can build your own baby gifts or gift boxes as well. So step two of the journey is that they would hopefully visit baby boxes. Step three of the client journey, this is a hover, is choose what category. Is it baby gifts, gifts for her, gifts for him, or occasions? Because they also do ones for mums or wedding and engagement, things like that. So let's say we know it's going to be a baby girl. So the next step there is to refine selection. Then you want them to browse. You want them to spend some time looking at the options and to go ooh and ah and get really invested in the product on your page. And I'm actually going to include that as a step because that's an action or an interaction we want. Spend time reviewing options. Because we want them to build a connection and a relationship with your brand. These guys have taken very similar photos, really equally framed, of all of their preset baby boxes. And of course, you can also search here by price as well. But what we probably want, and I know this because I've seen their business journey, we want them to actually upgrade and go, you know what? They don't have that many options for under 50. They've only got 4, 2 for girls, 2 kind of neutral, gender neutral. So maybe we want them to then go, you know what can we do? Build your own baby gifts. So then the step would be I'll just do it this way. Go to build your own. Because there's a likelihood, if we think about the psychology of a customer or a client, there's a likelihood that once they get more invested in the process of choosing a product or service on your site, they might actually spend a bit more money. They might go, you know what, this stuff looks really quality. I love the look of this particular item. I wish I could afford that. Oh, stuff it, I'll include that as well. So it's, again, that kind of McDonald's fries with that. So baby gifts, and let's say they say, I've got a budget of $50. And the way these guys have built this is very smart, but also a little bit annoying to navigate. They don't have the categories of the build your own so that you can jump around. So that's something on their site that is not user-friendly and not great for navigation. So, but they do start and make you scroll through every single page. So you review soft toys, and I go, okay, it's a newborn, maybe one of these blankets, but they're a little bit expensive. Teddy bear, a bit expensive. Don't really want to include any of those. So I'm going to go next. All right, what else have they got? Clothing, perfect. We want some clothing. And you can choose size, you can choose colors. There's obviously things of different budgets in here as well. And I might go, let's see, something. I might go, okay, cute, $14.95, a little mauve beanie, done, add. And then you can view your bundle content so you can remind yourself. You can keep scrolling through, or you can go back up to the top and go next. And you would keep building your box. Awesome, let's get a bib. Let's get one that kind of matches. Dusty Rose, $10, love it. And this is where that client journey of taking them from buying a preset product to building their own is more likely to increase the value of their sale. So say we've gone through and we've selected everything that we want to add. We go view bundle contents. Okay, so it's going to be a total of 54. Yep, happy with that. Add bundle to cart. So that's the next step. Oops. I'm sorry, we might go a little bit over time, guys. My apologies. Browse and add to cart. And then it's pretty straightforward from here for most sales-based platforms. So it would be review cart. We want them to hopefully consider some add-ons. So these guys, I know they do custom cards and gift wrap add-ons, and they probably make a really good markup on that as well. So if we go, you can choose gift wrapping in any kind of color that you want. You can choose a free card as well and add a note to it, or a lot of sites will have, you know, that add-ons for a paid or purchased card. And then you go through the standard checkout process. But remember that there probably are other options. So if you've got a consultation service, for example, you might have that people can book their first consult, but you might actually make it possible that they can add, you know, an extra, there might be a product that they can purchase that goes with your consultation. Maybe it's even like a consult diary if they want, you know, if it's something like counseling or coaching. Do you want $5 to add on your own counseling or journey kind of notebook? Think of options. Check out. And that's when a lot of the time people will add something like, did you forget? Do you want to add something? Or once you've actually paid, they might say in the next 10 minutes, get 15% off your next purchase. So you can look at ways to incorporate more opportunities to achieve those key outcomes in your business as well. That, you know, just increase the opportunity for people to purchase what you're looking for them, or what you ideally would want them to be adding on or doing as part of their journey. So doing an ideal customer journey like this helps you make sure that your website is built or framed to actually lead your visitors through this process. So you're going to have baby boxes as the number one item on the navigation menu. You're going to have the baby boxes and the build your own come up in that key scrolling section on the home page, because those are the ones that you want people to look at. You want them to get invested in all the beautiful individualized products, or the variety of products. So you would do a bit of a breakdown of them. Then you look at your abilities to add extra things or do add-ons before the final checkout process, and you might do an offer at the end. So building your site to accommodate that client journey helps you actually deliver a website that has a purpose or a function. So now we'll just talk quickly about design and structure. We've already talked about this a little bit, but understanding that your design of your website is not just a pretty face. Now, this is something that I've mentioned before, if you've ever attended my webinars, is there is a big difference between a website designer and a website developer. So what is the difference? A website developer is literally someone who is going to ask you what you want and they will build it. A website designer is someone who will sit and look at all of these things that we've talked about, like your branding, your purpose, your top 3 outcomes that you want, your customer journey, I think I just said that, and they will actually build the design of your website to work in all of those factors. Now, not all web designers actually do the development, but some of them do. So you can actually get them to then build it. But what they actually do is they create a map or a design, even in Canva or a drawn document, which says, here's, your homepage, which includes these features. Here's a drop-down menu. This is what your menus would look like. Here's what these key pages will be. And they actually build out the map of your full website. So that is something that you can do on your own. And if you're going to build your own website, I would highly recommend you do that. And that's something that I talk about in one of our pre-recorded webinars, which is Build Your Own Website. We talk about how to do that. And then understanding design features that are more than just good looks. So sometimes developers, the reason a lot of people come back and they're not super happy with the outcome from a website developer is because that they haven't understood, or they're not really big on design. So they might not be graphic designers, or they might not be branding or marketing kind of people. And sometimes you just get a website that has features but doesn't actually really look very good. Or the opposite can sometimes happen with website designers that don't understand development, is they might send you a pretty picture and say, I want the website to look like that. But in reality, it's difficult to make it actually function like that. So understanding a little bit of both is going to help you create a website that is visually appealing, but is also very, very functional, and is built out in a navigation format that works and, as I said, follows that customer journey. So next steps. It depends on where you're at with your business. If you want to, if you're at a point where you're looking to have your website improved, or you want to add things on, or you want to make some changes, definitely go through your website page by page and create a list of the items that you want to update. Do what we've talked about first today, which is looking at all of those features that make a great website, and then look at every single page on your website really analytically, and write a list of the things that you want changed that will improve it. So say if you don't have a current banner that really promotes something like your service, your key service, write that on your list. Add a banner that promotes key service. Then highlight what you could achieve yourself or what you would need to outsource. So most of the time, I'm a big believer in I will find a way to do it myself, because I don't want to pay someone else to do it. So if you are comfortable with doing that and spending a bit of time on Google, you can actually, you might surprise yourself the amount of things that you can actually change yourself without it being too complicated, especially depending on the type of website platform you're using. If you're in WordPress, it's a nightmare. I probably wouldn't recommend having a go unless you've really worked out how all the different pages, posts, and themes work. But other things like Wix or Shopify or whatever that have a kind of drag and drop feature, there's a lot that you could actually do yourself that you don't need to outsource. Also remembering things like the SEO terms. If you just Google how to enter basic SEO terms to my WordPress website, you'll easily find hundreds of videos that show you exactly how to do that. In fact, I might film one and I might pop it up on our community or on YouTube. And you can actually go in and you could just spend half an hour going to each page and entering a few keywords. It's going to help improve your SEO. Things that you want outsourced, obviously probably rebuilding your entire site might be something that you want to outsource unless you've got the time and the energy to do it yourself. And I would recommend watching our other video on that. If you have a very complicated website, so if you've got a lot of services or a lot of products, or you want to incorporate like a members only section, things like that, you might prefer to outsource it. But remember what I said about website designers versus website developers. Either engage someone who understands both, or someone who can at least help bring your vision, now that you've understood all of this, to life with your very detailed instructions as to what you want in your website. Where to find help on DIY? Google, YouTube, go to the digital solutions community that we've got in the Rural Woman, go and log in and look at our previous webinars. You can look me up on YouTube. I've sometimes got videos on there. I think it's just under my name if you look me up. Or you can send me an email. That's the recorded webinar. It's a QR code to our recorded webinar on how to build your own website. You're welcome to take a photo of that. And this presentation will also be uploaded to the community as well, so you can access any of these again. Does anyone have any questions at all? Don't forget to join the Digital Solutions Program if you haven't already. Especially if you're at the point where you are trying to figure out if you should be upgrading your website or getting a new one. This is something that your digital advisor can actually help you weigh up the cost benefit for and help you decide whether or not you can do it yourself versus outsourcing it. And they can make some recommendations as well if you do decide to go with outsourcing this as well. So the Digital Solutions Program, the all access version, is very much worth your while. And soon we are going to be adding some additional options for taking on more sessions if you would like to as well. Any other questions, please pop them in the chat, or otherwise you can reply to me. You can send me an email at laura@theruralwoman.com.au, or you can reply as well. And yes, I know often this ends up in the too hard basket. I have a list of things that are in my I'll get to it at some point section, but do try to, especially if your website is not currently working, that's one that I would jump onto ASAP, because obviously you want that up and working so that you can get business. But yeah, feel free to ask your digital guide, or you can also pop me an email as well if you think you know where your website's hosted, and we might be able to figure out a solution. Thank you very much, guys, and have a lovely evening.